Hi everyone, Jeanette here with Vivo Vintage Designs. Welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be painting or attempting to paint these very loose, fun little birds that I've seen painted in a couple of tutorials that I've watched on YouTube. And I've not done them before, so I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, but I'll be doing this in watercolor. And I thought I'd share the process with you. So right now I'm going to mix my colors, and I want some bright little birds. So I'm just mixing my colors in my palette first. And let's see how this goes. Okay, I've got my colors mixed that I want to use, and I'm using my Munyo, I think it's 48 pan paint set. And what I saw done first was it was a wet on wet technique. And I'm also using Canson watercolor paper, the XL, not the best quality, but since I'm just practicing, I thought that I would use a less expensive paper. So first I think I'm going to find a pencil and draw out the shapes of my little birds. And first I'm going to draw out their little heads in a circle. I want 3 of them. And then their little bodies. I want them to be pudgy. Especially this one in the middle. He's going to be the pudgiest. And then I think this one will be a normal size bird. Okay, now that I have their bodies and their little heads, I'm going to just pencil in what might be a branch when I'm finished. And I'm going to use my kneadable eraser if I can find it. I'm so unorganized. And I'm going to erase some of these lines that I don't need. You know, lately I've been kind of in a funk with painting. I just haven't felt inspired, and I decided to watch some YouTube today in hopes of finding some inspiration. And I do feel a little inspired. These little birds I thought were adorable, and I figured I would give them a try and share the process with you. Do you guys ever get in a funk too, where you just can't decide what it is you want to paint or what you want to do? I'm the type of person that I like to discover a new technique, and then I do it over and over and over again until I'm tired of it. And then I hit this phase where I don't know what to do that's new and different. So that's where I'm at right now. So that's why I'm trying watercolors, something with a little watercolor. Okay, so I've erased most of my lines, so they're very faint. I don't want them to show through. And I'm going to do a wet on wet technique. I'm going to use a thicker brush or a bigger brush. This is a 12. And I'm going to wet the surface where my bird will be. And this Canson paper dries pretty quickly, so I'm going to use a lot of water, which if you're using better quality paper, you don't have to do. But again, I'm just practicing. So I thought using the lesser quality paper would be smarter than using my arches. If I like the way this turns out, then maybe I'll do it on arches. Okay, I think that's pretty wet. So I think I want this little guy to be blue. So I'm going to just tap in some blue and let it run. Let's give him some tail feathers here. And then for his little belly, I think I'll put some yellow in there. And you can see that it's already drying. Again, this paper doesn't stay wet very long, so you have to work very quickly. And that will be my first little bird. And let me wet down my second one. This is my pudgy bird. Okay, I'm going to use a little red for his belly. And his face. And then I think I'll do some brown for the rest. I'm going to throw a little yellow in here too. And for my last bird, I'm not sure what color will do him, but let's see, let's wet in his little head. Oh, I didn't give this guy any feathers. I'm going to have to go back and do that. Let's see. Oops. Oh, that's the worst. My own hair falling into my painting. There we go. Some cute little tail feathers for him. All right, let's go back to wetting this guy down. This is the skinny little guy. And for this guy, I think maybe I'll use a little purple. I love how that bleeds through like that. And I think for his belly, we'll give him a little red. It's like a pinky red. We'll give him some purple tail feathers. And throw in a little pink in there too. I think I want to make him a little more blue, so I'm going to add a little bit more water. And go back into my blue. Oops, stuck my hand in his feathers. Just want him a little bit darker. And I think I'm going to do the same with this guy over here on this side. I'm just a little bit darker. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water. And add a little bit more of the brown. And let it blend in there. And if you see you have some areas that have a little puddling, especially again if you're using paper like this, don't be afraid to go in there and just pick some of it up. You can have a little piece of hair in there. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that so far. Clean my brush, and I want to kind of blend this in a little bit more here. And now I'm going to pick up some black because I want to give them some beaks. And I'm okay if it bleeds a little bit, kind of like that. I'm going to let their little eyes bleed a little bit too. And then I'll sharpen them up when it's dry. I want their little beaks to bleed into this a little bit. Okay, let's let this dry. Of course, the worst part of watercolors. Okay, they're kind of dry, and again, you can see that this paper is kind of warping, but I'm going to make the best of it. I'm coming back to give them a little detail, give them some little wings here. And add a little bit more detail in their little tails as well. I'm also going to come back in with a pen and give it a little bit more detail, but I'll do that in a moment. Just going to put in their little eyes and work a little bit on the beaks. I'm not crazy about the shape of his head, so I'm going to give him some feathers on his little head. And now I'm going to let that dry. Actually, you know what? I think I can work on the branch. So I'm going to mix some browns. And not putting in too much detail. Maybe a couple of little branches coming off, and I'll add some leaves onto those. Just trying to add a little bit of the darker color here on the bottom for texture. And now I'm going to pick up some greens and just throw a couple of little leaves on here. Okay, let me make sure this is dry and I'll be right back. Okay, that's kind of dry. I've got a micron pen and I decided to outline them a little bit, very sketchy little lines, just to define them a little bit more. But I'm using very sketchy lines. I'll definitely try this on better quality paper because I think the blending of the colors will be much better. And this little guy with his little mohawk, I'm going to give his little mohawk a little detail also. And I'll even add a little detail into the branch. Maybe a little into my leaves. And I also have a white gel pen, which I'm going to use to put a little highlight in the eyes, and maybe even some more detail in the wings and their little tail feathers, and maybe try and create a little texture in their little bellies. This gel pen is by Uniball, and it's one of my favorite. It's nice and thick. And shows up really well whether it's alcohol, ink, or watercolors. And my little mohawk guy. Add a little bit more detail in his little wings and his little tail feathers as well, and his little skinny belly. Maybe a little highlight. I don't know what he hears, but sorry about that. And there you go. I think that's really cute, and I think if it was done on better paper that the colors would blend much nicer, but I think it's adorable, and I'll definitely be doing this again. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the description box just below the video for details and links to all the products used. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.